Abandoned at 12, silenced for 18 years, I spoke out at my brother's wedding at 12. I was discarded, forgotten for 18 years. At my brother's flawless wedding, I exposed their deception and found my voice, one they couldn't mute. The room stilled as I grasped the microphone. Countless eyes locked onto me, murmurs of confusion spreading through the venue. My parents paused, drinks in hand. My brother Adrian's face hardened. I held up a worn photograph of a 12-year-old boy left at a gas station and said, "This was me. This is what family meant when they drove off and never returned." Gasps pierced the quiet. Emily, the bride, looked stunned. My mother's lips parted, as if to interrupt, but no words came. In that moment, at my brother's picture-perfect wedding, the truths they'd buried for 18 years resurfaced. My name is Ethan, now 30. Some memories don't fade. They fester, growing sharper with time. I rarely speak of my childhood, not because I've forgotten, but because voicing it makes it painfully real. I'm 12 again, standing in a gas station lot, clutching a candy bar I couldn't afford, watching my parents' taillights vanish into the night. It was August, just before school started. We were on a forced family trip, the kind my mother insisted we needed. In our home, bonding meant pretending my father's tirades were profound, and Adrian's every thought was a gift. I was the quiet one, too sensitive, too soft, always in the way. That day, I spilled a drink in the car. Adrian, 16 and skilled at dodging blame, smirked and said I did it deliberately. My father pulled into a gas station, his eyes blazing. "You're not a kid anymore," he snapped. "Act grown, find your own way home." I laughed, thinking it was a cruel joke, but the SUV's hatch slammed shut and they drove off. I chased them, shouting their names, my voice lost in the roar of engines. A clerk peeked out, cigarette in mouth, eyeing me like I was a stray dog. That night, I slept by the station's dumpster, curled up, heart pounding with every passing car. 80 miles from home. No money, no phone, no one to call. The clerk shrugged off my pleas, muttering, "This ain't a daycare." I didn't cry. Something in me froze, the part that believed family was forever. The next morning, I called Mrs. Grace, a teacher I trusted. She drove me back, gripping the wheel tightly as I mumbled that my parents must have forgotten me. She didn't buy it, but didn't push. She fed me, dropped me off, and said I could always reach her. At home, no one was shocked. No apologies. My mother glanced up from her laptop. "Took you long enough." Adrian, sprawled on the couch, muttered, "Should have walked faster." My father acted like nothing happened, nodding at breakfast as if all was normal. That day, I stopped trying to belong. High school passed like a shadow. I ate alone, studied in silence, and left at 18. I worked 3 jobs, attended community college, then transferred to a university across the country, cutting ties without a trace. I changed my number, left no address, and finally breathed freely. Now a software engineer, I live in a city where man up isn't a cure for pain. My friends call me steady, loyal. I adopted a rescue dog, Shadow, who flinches at loud noises. We get each other. I thought I'd never hear from them again. Then a letter arrived, no return address, my mother's dramatic handwriting. Inside, a gilded invitation to Adrian's wedding, paired with a note. "Ethan, our relationship has been distant, but Adrian's getting married. Your presence would mean a lot to the family. He asked us to reach out. We'd love to reconnect." As if they hadn't left me to rot at 12. As if Adrian wasn't the golden son I could never rival. I nearly tossed it, but something stopped me. The invitation screamed pretense, formal venue, black tie optional, a QR code for RSVPs. Like I was a distant cousin, not someone they'd taught the meaning of abandonment. "It would mean a lot to the family," the note said. "If they wanted me back, I'd show them what that meant." Adrian's fiancée, Emily Kensington, came from local elite, old money, whispered scandals. I vaguely remembered her from school, always polished, attention handed to her like an heirloom. Of course Adrian won her. My parents must have flaunted their pride like a trophy. I looked her up. Dental school grad, Instagram filled with uplifting quotes and latte art, engagement photos straight from a magazine. Their wedding website gushed about Adrian and Emily's special day at Stonebrook Vineyard, with registry links and a dress code. Adrian's love story section read like a PR script. I believe in fate, but nothing prepared me for Emily. She saw more than the man I was. I read it thrice, remembering the real Adrian, the bully who pushed me into a pond on my 12th birthday, claiming I slipped, while everyone laughed as I trudged home soaked. I wasn't going to attend until that line hit me. Adrian was erasing his past, pretending he'd left no wreckage. Suddenly, they called me family again. I didn't RSVP online, that was too simple. Instead, I had a college friend, Jenny, send a tailored midnight blue suit, fit for a movie star. I booked a room at the guest hotel under a slightly altered name. They wouldn't know I was coming. If they wanted to pretend the past didn't exist, I'd play their game my way. I emailed the RSVP address, Emily's, saying, "Excited for the celebration. Please keep my attendance a surprise for the couple." Ethan, no reply, but it was marked red. I cleared my schedule, arranged a sitter for Shadow, and packed light. The suit, polished shoes, and that faded photo of 12-year-old me outside the gas station, taken by Mrs. Grace the morning she rescued me. She'd sent it years later with a note. "You survived." I hadn't decided its purpose, but it felt right to bring. At the vineyard, the scene was cinematic: hills, fairy lights, polished beams. The rehearsal dinner hummed with chatter. From a patio corner, I watched my mother, thinner, her laugh brittle, her hair dyed auburn. My father, puffier, still flashed his money clip. They fawned over Emily's parents, praising Adrian. I stayed unseen until Adrian's eyes met mine. His face flickered, shock, then dismissal. He raised a glass, looked away, pretending I wasn't there. He hadn't told our parents I was coming. I left before the toast, adrenaline surging, hands steady with purpose. Wedding morning was misty. I barely slept, not from nerves but memory. The cold pavement, Mrs. Grace's tight-lipped concern, the silence at home. I ironed my suit meticulously, tucked the photo in my pocket, and boarded the shuttle with strangers, cousins, neighbors, Emily's friends. No one noticed me. At the venue, white chairs dotted the lawn, a floral arch blooming with roses. Music floated, waiters glided with Prosecco. My parents sat up front, shaking hands. Adrian stood with his best man, Emily still unseen. Then Catherine Kensington, Emily's mother, approached. "You must be Ethan," she said, smiling tightly. Adrian had mentioned me to her, not my family, calling it a disconnect to mend. I nodded, said, "He's optimistic," and let her walk away, her heels sinking into the grass. The ceremony was swift, vows, kisses, applause. At the reception, in a glass-walled hall with chandeliers and orchids, I found no seat card at my parents' table. My mother sipped wine, muttering, "Oh, you made it." My father's face was blank. "Must be a mistake," she said. "Maybe another table." I glanced at Adrian, laughing with Emily. He saw me, approached. "Glad you made it," he said, voice low. "No thanks to you," I replied. He sighed, claiming he didn't think I'd come. I pulled out the photo. His eyes darted to it, then away. "That was years ago," he said. "You were dramatic." I stayed calm. "I'm not here to ruin your day. I'll stay for the speeches." The lights dimmed, plates cleared, guests buzzed with champagne. The MC called for toasts. Emily's father spoke warmly, then Adrian's best man with light humor. Then, "Ethan has a special toast." The room froze. My parents stiffened, Adrian's jaw locked, Emily blinked. I walked to the microphone, tapped it, and began. "Good evening, I'm Ethan, Adrian's younger brother." Murmurs spread. "I haven't spoken to my family in 18 years. A wedding invitation arrived, saying my presence would mean a lot, so here I am." I held up the photo. "This is me at 12, the morning after my parents left me at a gas station 80 miles from home for spilling a drink. They told me to figure it out. I slept by a dumpster. A teacher brought me home. No one apologized. They acted like I didn't exist until this invitation." The room was silent, guests shifting uncomfortably. My parents' faces drained, Adrian's cracked. "I'm not here to ruin your night, Emily," I said. "You seem kind. But weddings are about truth. I wasn't raised in a family that protected, it was about survival." I set the photo on Adrian's table. "This is my gift, a reminder of what family looks like when you abandon it." I walked out, past my mother's hiss and my father's half-rise into the night. I wasn't angry, I was free. Back at the hotel, I walked the vineyard trails, the weight lifting. Emily left a voicemail. I wish I'd known. I'm not mad. You deserve to say it. I'm sorry. It was the first apology in 18 years, not from my family. I left early, emailed the hotel to cancel my stay, and returned home. Shadow greeted me with barks. Then connections emerged. My cousin Sophie messaged, apologizing for never asking where I'd gone. Mrs. Grace wrote, proud of me. I cried that night, a quiet release. My life found rhythm, better sleep, cleaner code, longer walks with Shadow, and writing to process the chaos. A nonprofit for abandoned youth reached out, inspired by my speech. I spoke at their retreat, then more, sharing my story with that photo, connecting with others who'd been erased. Emily emailed again, raw. Did they really leave you at 12? Adrian said it's complicated, but you were clear. I need to know more. I told her everything, plain facts, no embellishment. She replied, shaken. They never told me. Adrian said he was an only child until we were engaged. They erased you. What else have they rewritten? We met for coffee. She looked weary, asked for more. I shared the major cuts, the forgotten birthdays, the refused loans while Adrian got thousands. She feared for her future children, then left, needing time. 3 days later, my father's letter arrived, his handwriting sharp. Ethan, this isn't helping. You're shaming the family. Let it go or there'll be consequences. We gave you a chance to be part of this. No apology, just a threat. I smiled, scanning the letter, saving it securely. It was proof. I called a journalist from a trauma panel, ready to share my story on my terms with truth as my weapon.